I was over 500 miles away from home. 40 years later, I saw this guy walking down the highway, 2 lanes in each direction, busy street with a grass median in between, and this guy's walking across the median, and I think to myself, I think that's so-and-so who I haven't seen for over almost, 30 years at the time. I'm like, that's gotta be him. I turned around, went back, sure enough, it was the guy from my earlier years in life. And here he was, 30 years later, still had no freaking car. Him and I used to party together. I mean, we get drunk, we get stoned, we work together. We had a lot of great fun times together. Well, the time at that rock concert in New York City when the bouncer punched me in the face, that wasn't too much fun. But other than that, we had, maybe that fight we got into at the bar where there was like a bunch of people fighting each other, that wasn't too much fun either. But I'm telling you, we did have some fun times partying together. But we also had a lot of bad times. Then there was another time we were at a party and we got into a fight. You know what? Maybe me and this guy shouldn't have been hanging out together. And that's one of the things you need to learn for sobriety. Long-term recovery means changing people, places, and things. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. I've got a lot of long-term sobriety. And I mean to tell you, since I've been sober, I have not gotten into any fights. Okay? Just something. I don't know what it is about it. But I hadn't gotten into any fights. And I just named 3 fights that I remember from that one guy that I was with. So, and there was more too. So, if nothing changes, nothing changes. So let's flip that around. In order for me to stay sober and grow and change, I'm going to have to change something. Something's got to change. Sobriety is more than just stopping drinking. If you've been sober before and you're watching this and you've relapsed, why did you relapse? What was the trigger? What was it you were not doing? What was it you need to do? Maybe you're hanging out with old people, places, and things. I picked this poor guy up, and I actually had seen him again about a week later. Just really strange how I bumped into him again. And he was getting beer at 9 o'clock at night at the grocery store on a weeknight. A big bunch of beer. And I'm thinking, that's why he's got no car today, because he's still getting drunk and stoned, man. And, nothing changes, nothing changes. Meanwhile, I live down the street in one of the best neighborhoods in that city, driving a pretty new vehicle. So I'm not saying that you get sober, you're going to live in a great big house in the best neighborhood, although I did. That doesn't always happen, but one thing did happen. I did have a car. I haven't gotten into a fight, and I had peace of mind. I had my beautiful little daughter with me, which I would not have had I never gotten sober, instead of an 18-pack of beer and having to freaking walk home because I didn't have a car. So there's quite a drastic example there between me and this other guy. So, what are the tools? What are the things you need to do? It just takes some small, simple changes. But changes have to be made if you're going to get and stay sober and have a psychological change so that you don't need to get drunk anymore or do drugs. And when you do that and your self-esteem gets a little bit better and your head clears up, you can get a better job. You can have a family. These things are possible. And it's important to learn what those tools are. I worked for over 15 years in the drug and alcohol treatment field, 2 different inpatient centers for over 7 years, 2 of the best inpatient treatment centers in the country for 7 years. Then I worked at an intensive outpatient program. Then I provided relapse prevention therapy to impaired nurses a couple nights a week for the state that I happen to be living in. And so it's very important to do certain things in order to maintain and progress in your sobriety and keep and stay sober. The State Board of Nursing required the nurses to attend 12-step meetings, so many a week, and relapse prevention therapy at least 1 day a week, and they followed them for a minimum of 3 to 5 years. They require this, and it sounds like a lot. And I still go to 12-step meetings, and I've been sober a long time. But you know what? I mean, when I was drinking, I'd get drunk and stoned hours and hours a day. So if I got to go to a 12-step meeting for 1 hour, that's a lot less time invested into my sobriety than there was into my drinking. I could go to a meeting a week and still have less time invested in my sobriety than I would in 2 days worth of drinking or doing drugs. And the benefits far outweigh the consequences, you know? So the benefits of staying sober far outweigh anything that I had when I was drinking or doing drugs. I mean, when I think about my life, it's almost like a fantasy. It's almost like a fairy tale. I can't believe the places I've gone and the things I've done since I've gotten sober. Just a few of the vacations I've been on lately. I've been to California. We toured California, flew into San Francisco, went to Yosemite, went to Kings Canyon, Sequoia National Park, went down to LA and flew home from LA. It was a great 10-day trip up there. Phenomenal, phenomenal. I've gone skiing in Salt Lake, not Salt Lake City. We flew into Salt Lake City and skied in Park City, Utah for a couple of years, and just got back a couple months ago from another trip to Park City. Went down to Sundance, went over to a couple other ski resorts, toured around. Then we went down to Moab, Utah, and we went to Canyonlands National Park and Arches National Park. They're beautiful, phenomenal. We go camping in Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee. I mean, my life is great today. I've been married for over 27 years. I've got 3 beautiful children. My life, really, I could not have even perceived or dreamed in a million years that my life could be what it is today. And it all started with a couple of small, simple steps. There is a solution. I know how to succeed at sobriety, and I'd like to share some of those things with you. And that's why I'm sharing this video. So click on the link below, like and subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be producing content that hopefully can help you on your journey to sobriety. And if you'd like to really get some in-depth information, then we're going to have a link under here that you can go and log into that and see about a program that we offer, relapse prevention, and another in-depth program at Advanced Recovery Principles. So remember, God loves you and so do I. Have a great day.